Final picks and DFS tips for UFC Vegas 108. As always, you can call me Kunith. Let's make some money this week. Now, real quick, if you haven't already, go back and watch the predictions video from earlier in the week. You'll know why we lean some of the ways we lean as we go through. So watch that, then come back and finish this. And as always, we'll start with value plays. So that's going to be plays at 8,000 and below. Basically, the underdogs that you need to make your lineups work salary-wise. I don't think this is a great card for dogs, but we're going to do what we can with what we have. Now, one thing to point out on this card, there's no 8,200, 8,000 fight. So that stands out to me right away. Now, Nick Klein at 7,800, not somebody I think is going to win, but he is somebody who needs to be in value play consideration, because if Nick Klein wins, it's going to be because he wins by submission, and it's most likely going to be in the first round. That's what this guy's game is. He goes out there, tries to take you down, tries to get to your back as quickly as possible, prioritizes submission over position, wants to get you out of there as fast as he can. And that type of style, if you win, is going to be very high scoring on DFS. So you're going to want some Nick Klein. I would recommend going overweight to the field, not because I think he's going to win. I think that he's going to struggle to get takedowns. I think that he's at a striking disadvantage. I think Pulayev is just the better fighter overall. It's going to pick him apart. But that's why I wouldn't recommend playing Klein in a single entry contest, because I just don't think that he's got it. But if you're running multiple lineups and you're playing in a larger field kind of setting, then have some Klein. Hell, go 45% across your lineups. That way you can almost guarantee you are overweight to the field, because he's probably going to come in around like 27%, maybe a little bit more. So you're going to want to be overweight to him, because if he wins, he hits, and then you're going to leapfrog a bunch of people. But Nick Klein got to be in value play consideration. Right below him at 7,600, actually 200 salary less, you have Nora Cornolle. I think Nora Cornolle's in a great spot. She made weight, and the same can't be said for some other people on the card. But the weight cut's been a problem for her. But at 35 years old, oldest she's ever been, she's going to come out here and actually make weight. I think she's dialed in, and in the clinch, she hits way harder than Karol. Karol just puts nothing out there. She puts a lot out there, but there's nothing on it, is what I mean. She's all sizzle, no steak. She's going to punch you 200 times and you're not going to get wobbled once. She's going to get to the clinch, but she's probably not going to do a great job of taking you down. And what I think Nora Cornolle could actually do here if she wanted to, I think she could take Karol down if she wanted to, and Rosa's just going to lay on her back for way longer than she should. Inactivity and a lack of ferocity is what holds Karol back from reaching her potential. I think that just, again, we kind of talked about this in the predictions video. I think it's just kind of a mental block that she hasn't gotten over yet. Maybe she does now. Maybe she goes out there, beats Nora Cornolle, but I doubt it. I think Cornolle hurts her. I think Cornolle by knockout is very live. You also get a nice number for Nora Cornolle by knockout on a betting line. So if you don't play her in DFS, but you want to get a chance at that, take Nora Cornolle by knockout on the betting line if you don't play her in DFS, but I do think that she's a great play at 7,600. Neil Magny would be the other play that I'm looking at in this range, because Neil Magny, I know he's not going to score a ton of points. I know he's been losing a lot lately, but when you look at some of these matchups, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Gilbert Burns, Ian Gary, Morales, Prates, Mike Malott was supposed to beat him. Neil Magny was supposed to be a sacrificial lamb there. He's getting matched up with killers and guys who should be competing at the top of the division. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos is nowhere near that point and at the end of his career. So I think we're going to get a vintage Neil Magny performance where we're going to get a lot of control time. We'll get some takedowns. We'll get some significant strikes in the clinch, and he's just going to stay busy, like against Robbie Lawler here, right? 8 minutes of control, gets his takedowns, a lot of strikes, scores 100 Draftkings points. That's the kind of performance I see from Neil Magny this week. And down at 7,400's got to be in value play consideration, and I don't think you could possibly go the other way unless you're really hoping for a knockout from Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, but that's not something that's happening all that often. And my final value play is going to be Tresean Gore. I think that Tresean Gore comes in here and just does the damn thing. Now, I know he showed up way overweight, and that's really concerning because Tresean Gore hasn't missed weight before from my research, so that is a little bit worrisome, but maybe he's gotten into more of like strength and conditioning, went a little bit too much with the strength, and then as a result put on some muscle and then didn't account for it during the weight cut. I don't know what it could have been, but 3.5 pounds is not going to hurt him this week. If anything, he might be better because of it. Sometimes these people miss weight and then just show up less compromised and have a better performance as a result. But I think that Tresean Gore has more ways to win than Rodolfo Vieira does. I think on the feet, he's much better, hits harder, can take a better shot, and is going to put punches and kicks together better than Vieira would. And then when this fight hits the clinch, I really do like that guillotine like we talked about in the predictions video. I think he'll do a good job of keeping his feet this week. He's normally the guy that's looking to wrestle anyway, so I think his anti-wrestling is going to be pretty good. And I think that Rodolfo Vieira is slowing down at a rapid rate. Like you've heard people say in MMA, you get old overnight. Like you saw that performance against Andrey Petrosky last time out for Rodolfo Vieira. He looked horrible. So he gets stuck on the feet. Younger, better athlete who's more explosive picks him apart. I don't love the weight miss, but we're here. We're in our bed. We made it. We got to sleep in it. We have to eat chips in it. We got to watch a movie in it. We got to do all that. But that'll do it for the value plays. Now we'll start building some lineups. We're going to start with cash game lineups. So this is for like 50-50s, head-to-heads, double-ups. But before we do, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment something for the algorithm. You know how it works. For your tournaments, I do think that this is a pretty stackable main event with Tatsuro Taira fighting Hyun Park. I think that both of those guys are going to give you a good couple of rounds. Last week I said that you should not be stacking the main event because it was going to end in the first or second, by latest the third, and then it was just a sloppy middleweight fight for 5 rounds, which is kind of crazy. Like you look at the top of the middleweight division, it's like that's what it is. That's the best. I don't know. So these guys, though, I think Park is going to get takedowns here. Tatsuro Taira finds himself in bottom position all the time, but I think Taira's going to do really good work on the feet. Obviously, if he gets in a good position on the mat, he's going to have success. But I think Tatsuro Taira, Park, they're going to account for a decent amount of points between the two of them. Kevin Vallejos is somebody that you definitely have to take a look at for your cash games just because he seems like such a sure thing. You come down here, I think a guy like Nathan Fletcher is not bad at 6,900. I think he's able to survive an early storm and at least just keep it competitive for 3 rounds. Last time out, he lost against Colin Logren. I don't know what that bug is, but I think I need to take him out and then look at it here. Okay, so he scored 47 points in a loss last time out. It doesn't really get much better than that from a 3-round fighter. So I'll take Nathan Fletcher as our punt. I think he loses, but I'm fine with having one loser in the lineup outside of the stack. That's cool. Elves Brener, for those of you that didn't see my posts on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere, I said Elves Brener by knockout. I clearly meant Estaban Ribovics, but I know I have to spell it out for some people, but I meant Estaban Ribovics by knockout. This guy loses easily. He cannot be trusted. Not good. But 87.50 left over per fighter. I don't think you could really go wrong. You can come up here to somebody like La Vieira, and then 8,800 left over. I would probably do Pulayev here. I know I said Nick Klein is a value play, but he's more of a tournament or GPP value play than a cash game value play, in my opinion. I don't know if that's the exact cash game core that we're going to land on for the DFS strategy guide this week, but if you want the DFS strategy guide that'll have the cash game plays, the tournament plays as well, you can visit kunithmma.com. That's also going to give you the lineup optimizer, data model, projections, official betting article of the week, as well as the community parlays. All of that's going to be up by fight time. Also, make sure you make your money with PFL this week. I posted on Twitter and on YouTube the PFL plays. Go get you some. But now we'll build maybe 1-2 tree tournament lineups real quick just to give you a look. I think that guys like Austin Bashi and Rafael Estaban, you got to pay to play. It's cool. If you can't get both of them in a lineup, I get it, but Austin Bashi is a sure thing who's going to go out there and score really, really well, in my opinion. So now we'll come down here and grab some of these value plays. Let me get Tresean Gore. Let me get Mangela Hill, 85.56 or 85.66 left over. I might just grab another one down here in Cornolle, and with 9,000 left over, I don't think you could really go wrong. Matues Rebecki, and it is Rebecki. I know how it looks, but that's how they pronounce it. 9,100 left over. I can come up here to Estaban Ribovics. I unloaded the clip, but I got knockout upside, knockout upside, knockout upside, live dogs, and then Austin Bashi who's just going to go out there and score 110. Blow that up, start anew. Tatsuro Taira, he's obviously going to get a lot of ownership, although I don't know if you absolutely have to get there this week. If you really wanted to be different, just don't play the main event. But 96 there, 99, even 102 or 103. I don't know if that really gets you there. He's never really broken that 110. And I think there are other fighters on this card that can do that. Let's say we went with Estaban because he's got those takedowns. You saw, oh my God, this is so stupid. So Estaban at 9,500, scored 116 last time out, 11 takedowns, mad control time. What a beast. Dude showed up for a bantamweight fight at 125. That, like, big balls to do something like that, right? So Estaban gonna rag Bunez, and I know I put Nunez in the predictions video. You could blame Oscar for that, making me look like a fool. So now I'll go with Vallejos, come down here. Gotta grab some of these value plays. Let's go with Klein. Let's go with Cornolle. Let's go with Magny. 8,300 left over. Oh, we find ourselves with Tresean Gore. That's where we gotta live. Blow that up. Start anew. Who's a dog that people like that I don't? Chris Duncan. I'll give you a look with Chris Duncan because he has broken slates before. I know people are on him this week. I could totally be wrong about him. I just think Rebecki's a little bit better everywhere. But Chris Duncan could end up getting it done. Big power in both hands. Obviously, that guillotine's pretty nice. I think what most people do, I'll tell you, this is probably the chalk lineup of the week. So you have Chris Duncan, I think Tatsuro, Taira. Now you've got 8,400 left over. You're going to come down here. You're going to grab Nick Klein, who a lot of people will be on, I'm sure. And this is where things get a little bit tricky because I don't know who the go-to dogs are. I would assume Magny is probably pretty popular in the space. I haven't really gotten a chance to watch anybody's stuff this week, but I'm sure plenty of people are telling you to go with Magny because it just makes sense. And now with 9,200 left over, Rodolfo Vieira should probably garner a lot of ownership because he has scored well in the past. And this is a fight that's likely not going the distance. It's favored not to go the distance. I think it's favored to not even start round 3. And then with 9,500 left over, I think people are dying to play Kevin Vallejos, especially after coming off of that round 1 knockout where he scored 108 points. Dude's a problem. I think Kevin Vallejos at 9,400 is going to be played. This seems like the chalk lineup. This is what everybody's trotting out there. So of course, if you want to get a little bit different, you just come off of a guy like Tatsuro, Taira, you come here to Nora, Cornolle, you leave 1,700 salary on the table, cinema. Take out Rodolfo Vieira, play somebody like Estaban Ribovics, who I think is live for a knockout and scoring a lot of points in the process. Like if he gets a 3rd round knockout here, you look at that fight against Daniel Zellhuber, dude went the distance, scored 92 points. Dude's lost. Scored 59 points last time out. Another fight that went the distance, he scores 92. So if you throw another, what is it for a 3rd round finish? It's like 35 or 45 points, I think, for a 3rd round finish. So if you throw another 15 points here, another 15 points here, his average shoots up super high. And then if you gave him the win here, which a lot of people wanted him to get the win there, that would have been 89 points, right? So Estaban Ribovics, despite not being a grappler, is scoring really damn well on Draftkings. And you got to think Elves Brener can take a shot. Like he might get knocked out in the 3rd round after Ribovics lands like 150 significant strikes. So you really could get a Zellhuber-like output, but get an additional 15 points because instead of going the distance, he ends up getting that 3rd round finish. It's a difference between 30 points, 45 points. So you add 15 to this, you're looking at 117. Is that right? No, it's 107, 107. There you go. But that'll do it for final picks. If you've made it to this point in the video, I really appreciate it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment something for the algorithm, and I will see you next week.